Hello everybody, this is day one of the cleanse. We're sitting here in beautiful Sedona. Just had a nice hike, found a nice little spot by the stream. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about day one on your cleanse. So if you're used to eating a normal diet that has regular carbs, whether it's processed carbs or rice or refined sugar or even just fruits, our body is normally used to converting glucose into energy. And so what we're doing at the start of this cleanse is transitioning into a ketosis physiology where our body's going to convert the fat into energy using ketones. So what does that mean? What can you expect? One of the things you can expect is to have that sugar craving hit you at some point either today or tomorrow, probably today. So we have enough sugar, glucose, because sugar, what happens is when you eat carbohydrates, the bacteria in your digestive system is really good for certain people. There are certain bacteria that are really good at converting energy into fat. They're very efficient at that. And that's what happens with people who tend to be overweight or tend to retain weight very easily. They have a lot of this bacteria called Firmicutes in their digestive system. So what that means is any little carb that they eat is going to get shunted right into their fat cells. So they can eat a lot less than, say, a person like me or Jackie, where we don't have as much Firmicutes, so we can eat a lot more energy-dense food, and it won't get converted into fat. It'll just get stored as glucose and basically used up by the body. So in ketosis, we're basically transitioning out of using carbs, and what that means is all those little bacteria in our gut are going to start screaming, feed me, feed me, feed me, I want to eat. And so that affects our subconsciousness. We call that, well, I like to call it, and I've heard it called candida consciousness. It's not really you. You have billions of, maybe trillions of these bacteria all looking to get fed today. They've been fed, they've been fed, they've been fed, and suddenly they're not going to be fed. You should be feeling that. Now, how do you prepare for that? Well, one thing you can just do is sit with that feeling and say, I feel this overwhelming desire to eat sugar. Sit with it. Where does it come from? Is it coming from me, or is it coming from, my creatures? So ketosis is mainly fat. Now, fat has a really bad rap. We are led in this country to fear fat. However, it might be interesting to know that over the last 20 years, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, we were told fat causes heart disease, so fat's got a bad rap, and so therefore our society has been reducing fat intake, and we are one of the lower fat consuming countries in the world. One of the highest fat consuming countries is France. They eat a lot of fat, yet you don't see a lot of overweight people. That's because we've substituted fat with excess carbs, excess sugars, things like that, which is why we're in the problem that we have as a society. So to overcome that, this cleanse is designed to not only help people with weight management, but it's also to help people who don't necessarily need to lose weight like myself. I'm looking to have an overall feeling of improved immune system, improved health, improved vitality, improved libido, improved overall energy in every aspect of my life. And that's why we like to talk to you about the shake that we've made today. Jackie made the shake. Whoops! I didn't close it. You got to make sure you close this thing for that. Have that satisfying click. Otherwise, you get smoothie all over yourself. Anyway, what'd you put in here, Jackie?
Well, for this time, because this was an experiment, and I typically add honey to everything, which I didn't want to add any sugar at all. And I usually add some sort of protein powder, but I didn't have that. So the base of this, the liquid part, is water. And Then I added a little bit of colostrum, which colostrum is okay on this, right?
It's transition day. I would say in general, this cleanse, we want it to be animal product free. It's a good opportunity to get off caffeine, get off any tobacco products, get off any kind of drugs, if you're into that kind of thing, marijuana or whatever, also to get off animal products. However, we're staying here in Sedona and we found a bag of colostrum and we thought for the transition it might be good.
I'll just add that. So I added some chia seeds to thicken it up a little bit, and some green powder. Could be vitamin mineral green or any just nice green organic powder that you have on hand.
Yep.
And what else did I put? A little bit of cacao powder.
Yeah, so it gives it a nice chocolatey flavor.
Yeah, a little bit of stevia.
Yep. So it's not as bitter. The stevia cuts into. The stevia has a weird kind of flavor.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal. There's also some thought that it tricks the brain into thinking there's glucose coming because it tastes sweet, and you kind of throw your body off balance that way. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. And I did add just a half a small avocado.
Oh, okay.
In here.
I did not realize there was a half avocado. It's pretty good though.
Yeah, but it's okay, just to thicken it a little bit more.
Yeah, just to give it that fat. So remember, we're not using glucose. Glucose is very assimilable. Fat is actually really excellent. The body loves storing fat and using glucose instead because we have 100,000 years as primates going through periods of inadequate food, so famines. And so the body wants to hold on to fat. And so it would prefer to use glucose because glucose can be, converted very easily, whereas fat's a little bit more complicated. So it wants to store that fat for the famine times, which our body hasn't caught up to the fact that we eat food all year round. We are gluttons all year round.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, there's a lot. We got the avocado in here.
Yeah.
You've got what other fats do we have? We have the chia. Got some fat.
Yeah. I think that is all the fat that I put in here.
You can also add almond butter and water. Any kind of nut butter is a really great source of fat.
Yeah.
So those are going to be our primary. Did you put any coconut oil in here?
Mm-hmm.
No. I would have noticed because coconut oils, if this is cold, yeah, it would be floating.
Yeah. That's why I didn't.
Yeah. So we also added a scoop of exogenous ketones. We found some powder, and we knew that in the stage of transition, when the body, so I still have glucose from yesterday, most likely, in my liver over here. The liver stores excess glucose as glycogen, and then once our glucose is depleted, because I haven't had any for breakfast or lunch, the body will start, basically glycogen is glucose like in Tupperware containers. And that's what glycogen is. So then it's going to just break up in the glycogen stores, take the lid off the containers, and all this glucose is going to start flowing. And at some point, I haven't felt it yet, but at some point the liver is going to run out of glycogen. And then body's going to say, wait a minute, where's my energy? And energy levels are going to dip. And that's why the exogenous ketones are going to help mitigate that. So in the transition period from today, our first day, it usually takes 2 to 3 days. So the second day, the body's going to use scavenged protein. So most people have this protein complex where they need to eat a lot of protein. And we don't learn in our society that there's enough protein in vegetables to satisfy all of our protein needs. Just ask a cow, where does a 2-ton cow get its protein? Grass. Where does a gorilla get its protein? Greens. So there's enough. Spinach has a lot of protein, but all green leafies have protein. Broccoli has a lot of protein. Nuts and seeds have protein. So we generally overconsume protein, and excess protein starts to clog the basal membranes throughout all your tissues. So what'll happen on day 2, which is tomorrow, we can talk about more about that tomorrow. but we can look forward to that, is that the body will start scavenging basically start cleaning out the filters where it could be clogged with protein. So that's the good news. That's what's great about transitioning onto a ketone diet. And then by day 3, we'll be using ketones to break down fat into glucose for the rest of the remainder of this time period. So anyway, any last thoughts, well wishes? This is day 1, guys?
Day 1. It's just a matter of just transitioning from, a certain way of eating to a different way of eating. That's all. And the body needs to get used to it, give it a chance to adapt a little bit to some different food, some more raw food, less cooked.
We're going to shift. We're going to shimmy. We're going to dance into a whole new paradigm. I just want to say that I congratulate you for saying yes to your highest self and to your highest truth, and to making a difference, to taking responsibility for your health. That to me is the thing we've lost the most in our society, is we've given up our power in our health. We look outside of ourselves. This cleanse is all about looking inward, starting to reconnect with that part of us that really knows exactly what to do. And we've lost that part of us because we've been bombarded with unnatural processes. Artificial colors, artificial flavors, preservatives. These things dilute, or I should say obstruct, our ability to connect with the subtle energies of food. So this is day 1, this is the first step, and that's the hardest. Everything from here on out is just listening to your body and continuing to say yes to your success.
Yeah.
All right. See you on day 2.